Here are 9 secrets that only 2 people know. Number 9. KFC 11 herbs and spices. Sanders' original recipe of 11 herbs and spices is one of the most famous trade secrets in the food industry. The recipe isn't patented because patents, of course, eventually expire, and obviously, someone at the patent office would know the recipe, whereas trade secrets can remain the intellectual property of their holders in perpetuity. The secret KFC recipe dates back to the 1930s when Harlan Sanders served chicken to people who stopped at his gas station in North Corbin, Kentucky. It was an overwhelming success, and even though he never joined the military, in 1936 he was given the title of Honorary Kentucky Colonel by the governor in recognition of his contribution to the state's cuisine. To maintain the secrecy of the recipe, half of it is produced by Griffith Laboratories before it is given to McCormick, who add the second half, though the mixing itself happens at a third location. Only 2 executives have access to the recipe for KFC's 11 herbs and spices at a time. A copy of the recipe, signed by Sanders, is held inside a safe inside a vault in KFC's Louisville headquarters, along with 11 vials containing the herbs and spices. Number 8. The winners at the Academy Awards. The Academy Awards is one of the most watched live television shows each year. In 2016, nearly 34.3 million people watched from the US alone. The only people who are privy to the outcome ahead of time are the Academy's accounting representatives from PricewaterhouseCoopers, who tabulate the ballots submitted by Oscar voters and keep the results guarded until the big night. Martha Ruiz and Brian Cullinan are part of a small team at PwC that counts thousands of ballots for the Academy. Over the years, it is estimated that PwC has counted more than 450,000 ballots. After Ruiz and her partner Brian Cullinan oversee the initial counting of the ballot, the final tallies aren't recorded anywhere. Ruiz and Cullinan lead the count and the recount to ensure accuracy, but they don't write the winners' names down or record an aggregate tally on paper. Instead, the pair goes to work memorizing the winners for each of the 24 categories before manually stuffing the envelopes with the winners' names. PwC has stuffed more than 2,600 winners' envelopes since the envelope system was introduced in 1941. The winners go into a briefcase and there's a backup, just to be safe. This typically happens by the end of day on the Friday before the show. Only Ruiz and Cullinan know the winners. Not even the show's producers or the president of the Academy are informed as to who's going to take home one of the coveted statues. The famous briefcases are then hidden away in a top-secret location. On the day of the show, the 2 briefcases are put into 2 different cars that take 2 different routes to the Dolby Theater in LA. Number 7. Imperial Napkin Fold. The way napkins are folded at Austrian state events supposedly is a closely guarded secret that only 2 people know. And of course, they pass it on to someone else before they go. What's even more interesting is that there aren't any written guidelines anywhere in the world on how to fold it. The special fold is used at the royal tables by Austria-Hungary royalty. The process of folding the Habsburg napkin encompasses procedures that are known by close and trusted state officials. These people swear and take an oath that the design will remain a state secret at all costs. But why keep this secret? Rumor has it that it's a royal culture that's meant to remain a secret forever. The napkin is displayed in a museum to the public, and there are pictures and videos of it online. So it's easy for people to see it, but no one has been able to figure out how to do it. The imperial napkin fold is still used when foreign dignitaries, for example, dine in Vienna with high-ranking government officials. Really, only 1 or 2 people fold the napkins at these events? Or are they pre-folded in some stockroom? I'm not too sure about this one. What do you guys think? Number 6. Farmer's Almanac. The Farmer's Almanac has many interesting facts, stories, and light humor, among many other things, in each of its editions. This is great and all, but other almanacs have that stuff as well. Hold up, there are other almanacs? Anyways, just exactly how can a Farmer's Almanac keep its edge over classics such as Poor Richard's? By being the best at what farmers care about, predicting the weather. The Special Almanac's formula for predicting the weather was designed by magazine's founder Robert B. Thomas. Only Almanac's editor Sandy Duncan and an anonymous meteorologist know this secret. Predictions for each edition are made as far as 2 years in advance. The almanac's popularity depends heavily on the precise weather forecast for farmers, so it's no surprise the formula is being kept secret. This super special formula was devised in 1792, and apparently it's a top-secret mathematical and astronomical formula which relies on sunspot activity, tidal action, planetary position, and many other factors to do what science believes impossible: predict long-term patterns in weather. Many longtime almanac followers claim that the forecasts are 80 to 85% accurate. At least, that's according to the website. Professional meteorologists refute this, pointing to historical results of below 50% accuracy rate. The ability to predict events that far in advance is zero, according to Penn State meteorologist Paul Knight. Welps. Number 5. The Burglas effect. In the 1950s, David Burglas created what's now referred to as the holy grail of card magic, known as the Burglas effect. The world's greatest card trick is also commonly referred to as the any card at any number trick. This trick involves the magician being able to produce any card requested by the audience anywhere inside a deck without even touching it. The trick is mind-blowingly simple. The magician shows a pack of cards to the audience and then gives it to a random person. Another random person is asked to name any card. For example, let's say the Ace of Spades, and a third person is asked to name any number between 1 and 52. For this example, let's say 12. The 12th card in the deck, as counted off by the audience member who was holding the pack the whole time, will somehow be the Ace of Spades. Obviously, there are a lot of variants and rip-offs of this trick with varying degrees of differences involved, but in Burglas's version, he uses a perfectly normal, often borrowed deck of cards, and none of the people in the audience are working with him. Only David Burglas and his apprentice Mark Paul know how to perform this truly simple and amazing trick. Number 4. Chartreuse. Chartreuse is a French liqueur made by the Carthusian monks in 1737 according to the instructions set out in a manuscript given to them by François Annibal d'Estrees in 1605. The exact recipes for all forms of chartreuse remain trade secrets and are known at any given time only to the 2 monks who prepare the herbal mixture. The liqueur is named after the monks' Grande Chartreuse monastery located in the Chartreuse Mountains in France. The formula for chartreuse is a secret, known only to 2 monks, that consists of 130 herbs and other plants, but precisely what goes in the bottle is anyone's guess. Chartreuse has a very strong characteristic taste. It's very sweet, but then it becomes both spicy and pungent. Even if you happen to pay the distillery a visit, they're not exactly handing out the recipes to visitors. All you get to see is that something is being cooked up in copper stills and aged in enormous oak barrels. Number 3. LENA Blackburne Baseball Rubbing Mud. Baseball rubbing mud is mud used to treat balls in Major League Baseball to give pitchers better control and a firmer grip on the balls. Before the use of rubbing mud, baseballs were rubbed in a mixture of water and infield soil, but this method usually just discolored the ball's leather surface without really any benefits. LENA Blackburne was a third base coach for the Philadelphia Phillies, who in 1938 decided to set out in search of better mud used to rub against baseballs. Later that decade, Blackburne discovered the rubbing mud's location and founded the company that he used to sell it. Blackburne and his business partner John Haas never revealed the location to anyone, going so far as to shovel 500 pounds of the mud themselves every year well into their 80s. When Blackburne died, Haas brought his son-in-law, Bintliff, in on the secret. Currently, mud business owner Jim Bintliff and his wife are the only ones who know where the mud is dug out from. Number 2. The Coca-Cola formula. In case you didn't know, the Coca-Cola formula is the Coca-Cola Company's secret recipe for Coca-Cola syrup, which bottlers combine with carbonated water to create the company's flagship cola soft drink. Coca-Cola inventor John Pemberton is known to have shared his original formula with at least 4 people before his death in 1888. In 1891, Asa Candler purchased the rights to the formula from Pemberton's estate, founded the Coca-Cola Company, and instituted the shroud of secrecy that's surrounded the formula ever since. The company protects the secrecy of its syrup recipe by shipping ingredients to its syrup factories in the form of anonymous merchandise numbered 1 through 9. Factory managers are told the relative proportions of each numbered merchandise and the mixture procedure, but of course, the individual ingredients are kept secret as much as possible. Merchandise number 1 is known to be sugar, caramel coloring is number 2, caffeine is number 3, and phosphoric acid is number 4. The identities of merchandise 5 through 9 are a matter of considerable debate, particularly the legendary merchandise 7X. The X has never been explained, which is thought to contain a mixture of essential oils such as orange, lime, and lemon. According to the company, only 2 employees know the complete formula at any given time, and they aren't permitted to travel together. When one person passes, the remaining person must choose a successor within the company and give the secret to that person. The identity of the 2 employees in possession of the secret is itself a secret. While several recipes, each purporting to be the authentic formula, have been published, the company maintains that the actual formula has never been figured out, of course, because, why would they? Number 1. The Ayapanaco language. The language of Ayapanaco has been spoken in the land now known as Mexico for centuries. It has survived the Spanish conquest, revolutions, famines, and floods. However, its demise was sealed by the advent of education in Spanish in the mid-20th century, which for several decades included the explicit prohibition of indigenous children speaking anything else. Fast forward to today, and there actually are just 2 people left who can speak it fluently. But get this, they actually refuse to talk to each other. Manuel Segovia, 75, and Isidro Velasquez, 69, live less than a half a mile apart in the village of Ayapa in the tropical lowlands of the southern state of Tabasco. It's not clear whether there's an actual grudge behind their mutual avoidance, but people who know them say they've just never really enjoyed each other's company. Segovia, who denied any active animosity with Velasquez, retained the habit of speaking Ayapaneco by talking with his brother until he passed about a decade ago. Segovia still uses it with his son and wife who understand him, but they themselves can't speak the language except for more than a few words. Velasquez reputedly doesn't regularly talk to anybody in his native tongue anymore. So basically, even though there are several people who can understand some Ayapaneco, these 2 old dudes are the only ones left who can speak it fluently. A dictionary of the language is about to be published though, and it'll contain both versions. Here's what's next.
Agree on anymore. Need proof? Try browsing the comment section on any given YouTube video. Probably even this one. Having said that, most Americans, minus Richard Spencer and company, can agree that the Nazis were bad. So you can imagine the PR nightmare that ensued after Connell International